Yeah, from the first time you all did this, I'll never forget driving up here and not knowing what it was, and just being stunned and figuring it out as I'm driving, and just, oh my, you know, and just each year sadly seeing the costs multiply and multiply.
But when you look at it and know that line where you cannot distinguish one tombstone from another is a lot of suffering, and it literally brings tears to my eyes, and is an emotionally overwhelming reaction on my part.
Aside from all the so-called celebrating that people do, it reminds people that there was a lot of death involved, you know, over Memorial Day. And I think a lot of people know it, but the visual representation is unique in Gainesville, and I think it's really important.
And a way to just let others know how important it is to be respectful to those who fight for peace and freedom and America.
It's incredibly moving, and it's something that every kid in Gainesville, every high school student, every elder should bring their children to see, and it should continue because it's very much about who we are as a community.
If you come here, get out of your car and stand there and just look at that long line of tombstones. And think about all those lives that were lost. And then think about what has been accomplished from all of these lost lives.
My greatest fear is it wasn't worth it.
Because the memorial is a community. It's a piece of the community. It's a piece of citizens.
I'm glad to be here today to honor my dead, fallen comrades.
We don't see the deaths, we don't see the broken bones. So Memorial Mile is important because it is a reflection, but it's a different perspective of what's happening. We hope others will rethink war when they see the Memorial Mile display.
Every year they bring a light, one of those little solar lights out, and you just think how that this Memorial Mile offers that connection with people who, you know somebody who's here.
It's very impressive. It saddens me to no end to see this huge testament, if you will, to failure, in my view, about this constant loss of life. To what end? What have we as a nation accomplished? We have lost so many of our good men and women. To what avail?
It's so breathtaking to see all those small tombstones and be reminded of the sacrifices so many have made.
It helps visualize for everybody the actual cost of war, because each one of these tombstones represents a real person who's now no longer with us. Wasted lives, all the broken hearts. At least try and help us find another place, because we can't let this go.
This is such a wonderful way of showing the public this cost of the war, the individuals and how many of them are cumulatively. It takes a couple of minutes to drive past it, so it's just enormous.
My reaction from beginning to end, when we first started at one end and I looked down and I saw the ages jumped out at me. So many 19, 20, 22-year-old kids that we've sacrificed for this. And then Patricia saw a lot of the older people that were sacrificed for this. It was very touching. That if we had soldiers requesting a 5 or 15 mile per hour respect zone in this 1 mile, I think people
would have done it. People would have done it, I think, yes.
Yep.
It's important that people understand the cost of war. And when I personally walk along the Memorial Mile, my mind's eye sees a human being standing where every one of these tombstones are, and that drives it home for me.
I think it is a very visual way to wake some people up and get them at least thinking about what the hell is going on over there and what is my role in the impact of what's going on over there, and is it really going on over there? And I thought that war was over a long time ago. So, yeah.
It's so easy for people to get caught up in the beach and the barbecue and everything of Memorial Day, and they tend to forget what this is all about and what tremendous sacrifices have been made. And this memorial brings it home very, very clearly. You're not looking at numbers, you're looking at people and lives.
Seeing it for the first time, it was incredibly sad. I was very emotionally moved by it. I mean, visually, with all the gravestones, etc. I used to live in Arlington, Virginia, and I spent a lot of time actually studying. I was a student in D.C., and I would study in Arlington Cemetery, and it reminded me a lot of that, with the straight lines of gravestones and all the uniformity of the different markers. It reminded me of that, and it was very sobering.
It's just incredible the impact it gives you about each of these people died and what were they really dying for.
People will tend to forget. I think that we need to be reminded, and just because may not be a war going on,